So when I was in 12th grade, I tried out, but I had helped everybody with their routines. And so when I got up to try out, I forgot my own. And I didn't make the team. And I realized right then that I wasn't practicing my routine. I was just helping all these other people because they were like, I need help. And so I would help them. And I wasn't being disciplined and wasn't doing my routine, and I forgot it. And I suffered the consequences. Well, I always have fun talking to you, so.
That's what all these podcasts are for. Just meant to have fun. So that's all you got to think about. Just conversation with your son, Your favorite son.
I don't have favorites. I tell you all that the same. I do not have favorites.
What makes me your favorite son, though?
I do not have favorites.
Come on.
Nope.
Okay. Well, I'm very excited to have you on the show, Mom, and this is going to be fun. Just going into it. This is long overdue. I apologize for that.
It's all good. I know I'm not important. Just kidding.
That's not it at all. How dare you?
I'm just teasing.
I've told lots of stories about you on this podcast. So
I know. I hear them.
Kind
it's
of full
kind of
circle.
Embarrassing.
No, it's good. It's all good stuff. But you want to introduce yourself a little bit? Just say, who you are and
I'm your
favorite
mother.
memory about me.
My name is Dina, and I'm Brett's mom. And let's see, there's so many fun memories about you. I guess one of my favorite memories is when you were 4 and you were taking swimming lessons. You've always had a great smile. And I remember you like under the water, like trying to get up, smiling. You were like,
I'm just drowning.
Just drowning. And
yeah.
But you had a big smile on your face.
I mean, hey, I still do it. Anytime I'm on like a long run and I'm 21 miles in, still smile, even though I feel like I'm dying. So I'm glad that lesson stayed through.
You always smile, even when it's the worst.
That's true. I try to.
You do a good job.
Okay. I will say this, though, because I told you this a little bit before we started recording this. I'm going to give you a second to talk about QT. Those were the best memories. And I know you always get sad about it. And you're like, I feel so bad. Like I made you go eat donuts every day and Fritos and got you a giant Coke every single day. This is every day. But I loved it. Those were the best memories. But you got to tell my listeners where that came from.
Well, I wanted to be a cool mom, not a regular mom. No.
Yeah, there you go.
So you were my baby and I had a day. And so the school was before QT. And so my initial thought was like, I'm going to go get a drink, let Brett get whatever he wants, then take you to school. Then I could get on with my day.
It's the best way to go.
So it was kind of like, so I didn't have to backtrack. I know that's awful. No, that's awful. I feel so bad.
Not awful at all. Listen, I would walk into class with like a giant bag of chips and a donut and a drink, and all my teachers were just like, what the heck is this kid? Like, how does he have this every single day? I'm like, yeah, that's what's up.
Now,
that's
wait,
what I'm talking about.
It wasn't every day, I will say.
That's true. Yeah, it wasn't every day.
But I do remember one time that I watched you and some kid was following you around as you had your drink and your donut. And I thought he was bullying you. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I pulled into the front of the school and I walked in and I was like, I think my son's being bullied. I want to talk to him.
I remember that. You pulled me like I was walking into my class and you came up to me and you're like, hey, is that kid bullying you? I was like, no, I was giving him stickers because Dad had that publishing thing. You get samples all the time. So he got a bunch of sticker books. I was giving everyone stickers. And I was like, you got to check out these stickers. And he was like one of my friends.
You. He didn't look like one of your friends. It freaked me out. So I was going to take care of business.
He wasn't necessarily white.
No, he was a white kid.
I'm just kidding.
I'd take down any kid, any color, if he's messing with my boy. So
it's true.
Mama Bear
got
coming
that fire
out.
in you.
So no, just don't mess with my family.
Oh, it's that's true. Like you have that mother bear instinct that's come out many times.
I think all mothers do.
Yeah.
So,
but My favorite is maybe I shouldn't tell that story.
Maybe you shouldn't. I know what you're going to say.
I probably won't. Because it's about volleyball. You know,
Yeah,
you
I
looked at
know.
someone and did something.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. I just don't like cocky players and messing with my kids, and so yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. But pretty much the story is my mom was trash talking one of the players on a opposing volleyball team, and yeah, you don't mess around with Dino.
Well, let's just say he thought he was all that in a bag of chips. I'm okay if you're a good player and you're humble about it. That's awesome. But once you throw the cockiness in it,
True.
it's over. Game over.
Game over. Dina comes out. She's ticked.
It's hard now with the grandkids playing sports. I'm like, oh, they're little, but I'm like,
you're yelling at little 5-year-olds.
No, I don't yell at all. No, I don't yell at all. But I was like, is he pushing him around?
Is that kid pushing Norman? I'm gonna go have a word with him.
No,
I hope that's the case. That would be good.
Blake will take care of that for me if he does.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just try to keep my mouth shut.
Where'd that fire come from? Because you've always had it.
I don't know. I just love my family so much. Don't mess with me. I mean, I remember one time Dad was in the hospital and the doctor came in and said, your x-ray looks good. And I was like, oh, hell no. He didn't have an x-ray. And what are you saying it looks good for? He's in here dying. I was so mad. And the doctor just looked at me like, you're lying. And
he looked at you and said that you were lying? It
was a lady. And she just looked at me like, oh my gosh, you're lying. And I was like, no, I'm not. And Dad was like, no, I haven't had an x-ray. I was like, what freaking x-ray are you looking at?
That's pretty good. Yeah. Was that when he had his like insane infection in his foot or what?
No, this is when he had pneumonia. They gave him they gave him a pneumonia shot and a flu shot when he had pneumonia. I'm like, what the heck? We never went back there, to say the least.
Listen, that fire, that Dina bear mom fire. Sorry, scuba lessons has messed up my throat, so that's
all good.
But that fire, I used it so much when I was going through all my health crap. I had no idea how to like talk to insurance companies and all that stuff. So you helped save me quite a bit of money during that time because you'd call the insurance and be like, "Why the freak did you bill them for this test that we didn't even ask for?" And they're like, "Okay, we'll take it off." And if I didn't have you and learn those lessons,
I only get fiery when my family's being attacked. I'm a pretty nice person. At least I hope I am.
You're a very nice person. I actually have a few questions about that, but I do want to, before we go into that, have you ever gotten into a fight?
No, I avoided that at all costs. No.
Come on.
I haven't.
What about like a very aggressive verbal argument?
Yes.
Okay. You want to share about that?
I was
You could refrain from the names. Give my listeners a good story.
I was in junior high, and I was on the cheerleading squad. And there was a certain cheerleader that her mother would get involved all the time. Like all the time. And I used to just keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
And we were going to be in this parade that we would have every year. And nobody wanted to hold the banner. They wanted to be in the back cheering, as we went in the parade. And this mother got involved. And I ended up like holding the banner. And then I was like, it's because your mom, I was like, all like, but then this is the bad part about me. I felt so bad about saying that to her and being mean to her that I went up to her and I was like, I'm so sorry. And she was like, and I was like, okay.
She just turned into like a duck.
Total beast. She was just like, well, and just like, had that attitude thing going on.
That's one thing about you is you are incredibly, like, you have a guilty conscience more than anyone who I've ever met in my entire life. So if you go and like offend someone or make someone feel bad, that'll stay with you for like days. And it's kind of funny. Like I remember, I don't know what it was, but like you were talking to someone, you offered advice to somebody, and I remembered like they left the house and you're like, was that too much? Like, should I call them and tell them I'm sorry? I can't remember who it was, but like you're always thinking about other people, and
Well, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I mean, but
you're the sweetest soul in the world.
No, but I will stand my ground when it comes to my family.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What other things would you stand your ground on?
Lots of things. Loving Jesus and God.
Yeah.
If I thought no, I'm not even going to say it. It's so stupid. Because you wonder if sometimes if someone said, if you believe in Jesus, I'm going to kill you or something. I would say, yeah, I do. And I'd be killed.
Yeah.
I know that's so stupid. But yeah.
If you believe in Jesus, I'm going to kill you. Yeah, I do. Then you're killed. There you go.
No, that's but like good. I in my morals and I don't know. There's lots of things I'd stand my ground. I mean, I don't know.
You're someone who I think has integrity more than a lot of other people do, and you're able to live those values. That's actually been something I've been talking a lot with Allie with, is like the values that we want to live our lives by, the values that we want our kids to live. And I have to attribute a lot of the values that I believe to you, because you set the example. And that's something I think I've actually been asked from a couple listeners, like, how do you stay true to your values? How do you be proud of the person that you are? What would you say to that?
Well, your dad is super honest. He's like integrity sometimes to a fault. But and I learn a lot from him, but I would feel bad if I didn't like uphold myself to the morals and the things that I stand for. Does that make sense? So like if I did something, I would feel bad. Did something wrong. I would feel bad until I righted it. And then I would say in my head, I'm never doing that again. I don't want to have those feelings of, being dishonest or do something wrong so that's why I never did that, because I didn't like the feelings that came with the things that you do wrong. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, it does. I was listening to this podcast yesterday. Guess who it was?
Jocko?
No, it wasn't Jocko. Joe Rogan was interviewing someone, but I want you to take a guess who the interview guy was.
Who he was interviewing?
Yeah. Think Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Ryan Reynolds?
His show. Oh. It's a very big show.
Oh, Jimmy Kimmel?
No,
Jimmy Fallon.
He's not a comedian.
Oh, he's not a comedian.
Dr. Phil, I'll just tell you.
Dr. Phil.
It was great. It was a good episode. I think you should go listen to it because he had some good things to say. But in the episode, he was talking about like values that people live by, and if you want to be proud of the life that you have, you got to be proud of the person that you are. And Dr. Phil said this quote, which is kind of what you just said. He said, "Be who you are on purpose. I'm going to decide what I believe. I'm going to decide what I value, and I'm going to live that." And so he was pretty much just talking about like, he experiences a lot of people who are trashing on Dr. Phil, right? Like he goes online and people are like, Dr. Phil's going down to the border. What's he got business doing there? Or, Dr. Phil is trying to start his new network. Like he doesn't have experience doing this. And Dr. Phil's point was pretty much like, it doesn't matter because I know who I am. I know what I believe, and everything else that other people say, it doesn't matter because I'm confident in the person that I am. So I think that kind of goes along with what you're saying with like values and being true to your integrity.
I
it's hard sometimes.
It is. Or maybe it was a song I was listening to, but they said it's better to be kind than right. And there's so many times when I'm right, but I choose to be kind.
Yeah. I mean, you've never been wrong in my entire 26 years of life. So
I'm sure I've been wrong plenty of times, many times, but I really
maybe just with the
feel that.
QT, maybe that should have been just a once a month thing.
Oh my gosh, I really apologize for that. I feel so bad.
No, it's honestly, like I feel so blessed to have you as a mom, because you have taught me so many different things that have trickled into me becoming the person that I am today. Like,
Aw.
you set the tone for going to the gym. You would always go and exercise and work out. Even if it wasn't at the gym, you're doing Taebo at home, and I would join in and do Billy Blanks. Is it Billy Blanks?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do some kickboxing and stuff. That was cool.
I still do it once in a while. It's a fun workout and it kicks your butt. So
I just think you're such a good example of what it means to stay true to who you are. And growing up, like, having a mom that was always working on herself, like you always were working on yourself. You were always spending time with the family. It is something that, like, I want to do with my kids, and they're all lessons that I want to adapt and teach my kids, like the same kind of thing. Because
sweet of you.
On top of that, like, you also are the most fun mom in the entire world. Like, the people listening probably have no idea, but if I am driving in a car with you, you will rap all of Lil Jon's Get Low in the car, and it's so good. It's the best.
It's so bad.
No.
Oh,
My Goodies by Sierra, toss that in there too. You got that one.
I love to dance and I love to sing, so I don't know. Yeah, that's good.
Going back to you setting the example, this is something I want you to talk about a little bit. So I have observed from you that it doesn't matter how tired you are. It doesn't matter how busy you are or what you have on your plate, what you're going through. If someone asks you for help, you are there. And it doesn't matter who it is. If it's someone in your church, if it's someone in your family, a friend is asking for help, you're always there and you're always serving. And that is something that I need to work on. Like, Allie and I talk about this all the time. We had a service date last night where we just went and got little kits made for refugee kids and then dropped them off at a place. And I was like, man, that feels so good to, like, do little service things. But you're always doing service and it gets tiring. And so I'm curious, how did you develop the mindset of, like, always focusing on other people and always making sure that you're trying to do your part and taking care of them? Where did that come from, and how do you balance it?
Well, my parents were super good examples of always helping others. My mom would drop what she was doing and come help me with you guys when I was in a bind or whatever. And our church, they're always like, you need to serve and be like Jesus. And I want to be like Jesus. Yeah. So I do get tired sometimes, but it's so interesting when you serve somebody or help someone. You get way more out of it than they do. And even though you're tired or you have other things to do, it always seems like I have time to do what I need to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're rewarded too, and you still have time to get your stuff done. Sometimes you just have to stop thinking about yourself and stop being, oh, I need this or I need that, and look outward because there's so many people that need us. Yeah. I was on an airplane flight one time and this lady in the front had a baby, and I think he was like 1 or 2, but I'm pretty sure he was crying the whole time. It was like a 3-hour flight. Dang. And everybody was being so rude to her. And so she got off the plane and I was fairly close, and she like pulled over to put her child in the stroller. And I just looked at her and I said, "Can I help you?" And she just looked at me with these eyes like she was going to burst into tears. And she was, giving everybody the finger and everything. And she was just like, I don't care. And she was doing the mama bear, but she was tired and she needed help. And so I took her bags and we went down to the garbage, the carousel.
Took her baby to the garbage.
To get her bags. And her husband was down there, and I just gave her the bags, and she just hugged me so tight. I did not know this lady. I was so grateful, and that someone would actually help her. It was kind of sad that the people around me were just like giving her a bunch of crap. She can't help that her kid is, crying the whole time and giving her stuff. I just think it's important to look outside yourself and see where you can help. I'm not always good at it. I don't always do what I need to do or should do, but
I mean, that's all of us, right? But
yeah,
I would say you're pretty damn good at it. And no matter what, like, even
You're
when
just
Allie and I are
prejudiced.
coming down, when Allie and I are coming down, like for Mesa, we came down for the Mesa Marathon. You're like, okay, do you need food? Like, you want to, like, can I do anything for you while you're down here? Like, you're always looking to help other people. And that's something I think is missing a lot from the world. Like, people are always focused on themselves, and it's hard. And so what would you say if someone was like, okay, I need to make this change in my life. I need to focus a little bit more on others. How would you say, like, start looking outside of yourself? Like, what steps would you do?
Well, I think a big thing is people need to put their phones down. And I'm guilty of it too, but just look around and listen and observe. You can really see who needs it and who needs an extra help. It was really cute during the pandemic. Your niece Lily we would be at the grocery store, and she would see people and she'd be like, "Oh, I like your hat," or "I like your scarf," or "You look really cute today." And you should have seen the change of their face just at the grocery store. They were just it made them so happy. It doesn't take much, but if you look around you and you listen, and the people in front of you at the grocery store, instead of being on your phone, just be observant. That's all.
That's good. I mean, that's really it. It's just like Allie and I were talking about this too. One of the easiest ways is just, if you think of someone, send them a text. Be like, hey, thinking about you. Just that way, like, you're always looking for opportunities to think about other people. So
yeah,
no, I appreciate that. And what would you say, those experiences of looking outside yourself, helping someone in need, or serving, what have those taught you?
Well, I'm not the only one on the planet. Everybody in this world has something that's hurting them or they need help with.
Yeah.
And we're all a big community, and we're all human beings, and we all need love, and we all want love, and we all deserve it. So I don't know.
That's pretty good. You're very wise, Mom.
I'm so wise.
You are. You're very wise.
I'm not.
100%. I just told you I learned a lot of lessons from you, so you better be wise.
It could be.
But yeah, I think that's super important to do. Like, always try and find opportunities to look outside yourself. It's hard, but it's important.
It is. And some days, it's just not doable. But, if you have that general, like, looking out for others or see how you could help. And sometimes I'm too helpful, I think. Sometimes I bug people with how helpful I could be.
Yeah, I'd say that. Sometimes you're like, yeah, you try and do everything for everybody, and they're like, Dina, you can sit down. It's okay.
Well, yeah, anyway.
No, it's not a bad thing. Everyone loves you.
You're very sweet.
I want to shift gears for a quick second.
Okay.
Talk to me about Snug.
Snug.
Snug blankets.
I'm in the middle of Snug right now, restocking. I've got about, let's see, how many I've made 92 blankets. I have 40 more pinned, ready to go.
Dang.
Restocking season is always the hardest.
You guys hear that?
It takes longer, but
she's getting inventory, so go check out snugblankets.com. But
yeah, baby.
Let's back it up even to the start. Where did the idea come from? How long have you been in business? And, like, let's just go from there. Tell the story about Snug.
Well, I've always like to be busy, and I've always liked to do something, have something extra. And I wanted to have my own business, and I would look around, and I've looked around at a few companies, and I liked what they were doing, but I didn't like their fabrics and stuff. And so I started experimenting. I made a blanket for your dad, and it was too short. So I had to go back to the drawing board. And then I made one for all you guys to see how you would like it, and finding different fabrics. So I started about 7 years ago. And thanks to the help of all three of you boys and Todd and my husband.
Not me. I was on my mission.
Well, I know when I started, I guess you were. Blake was the biggest because he was doing marketing for his school. And so he was helping a lot. He built my website. But between you three, man, and your dad, I just really feel like you helped me build it. But we've been in business 7 years. We're in our 7th year.
That's awesome.
Is that how that works? We had our 7th birthday in December. So
okay,
yeah.
so you're in your
you're in the 8th year. 8th year. Okay.
That's crazy.
I know, it's crazy. I do everything myself. I pick the fabric, I wash it or cut it, wash it, pin it, sew it. And then all of the inventory is under my stairs in containers so it doesn't get dusty.
And you do fulfillment too.
Yeah, and I do fulfillment and
That's
marketing.
insane.
I'm not as good at the TikToks and stuff as you guys are, but I try.
I mean, you're 51. We'll say 51.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm 56. I own that, baby.
You're 56, and you're still on TikTok, and you are shipping blankets. You're sewing blankets. You're going to LA getting fabric. You're literally doing everything.
Getting the fabric's the fun part.
Yeah, that is actually a good time. We've had some fun times doing that.
Yeah. And some scary times. I remember the time you had to step in front of the homeless man in front of me so he wouldn't hurt me.
Oh, yeah. I was like, this guy is a freaking creep. What the heck is happening here?
Yeah,
I was about to
it's
knock
always
him
a good
out.
time.
But no, I mean, that's like, you're just rattling it off like it's nothing. But that is a lot of work. Like 7 years of you going through that process every single day. That's insane.
Yeah,
and
it's pretty fun.
One thing I always talk about is like consistency. And if anything, you've shown me that you have been unbelievably consistent with Snug. And I mean, the products are unreal. Everyone who I give a Snug to, they all are just like, this is the softest blanket I've ever had. I'm absolutely in love with it. And
that's my favorite thing I think about this is that when people tell me how much they love it and they take it everywhere, because it's so easy to roll up and throw in a bag. My friend takes hers to the movies every time she goes to the movies. And I love that about the whole, that's my favorite part is when people say, I love your blankets.
Yeah. It's kind of like Snug is a representation of you. Like a lot of hard work goes into it. And then people are just like wrapped up literally in your love and taking it to movie theaters. So that's kind of a cute thought. There you go.
Yeah, that is a cute thought.
Little Snug I take
mine
Dina.
on the. That's right, a big hug from Dina. I love it because I take it on the airplane. Dad curls up in the super Snug and he goes, "Have you put drugs in this? Because every time I cuddle up with it, I fall asleep."
I can attest
no drugs
to that.
were involved.
It's like the super Snug. If you have sleep issues, get a super Snug. Just buy it, do it. It'll change your life.
And a super Snug is different material. It's a sweatshirt material, but it's super soft and stretchy. But it has a little bit of weight to it, so it kind of just envelops you and
it's the best.
Makes you want to sleep.
It is the best. Yeah, I love it. I love like seeing your passion for it, and it's so fun when you're out at like, are they they're not trade shows, the little events.
They're little like markets, like pop-up markets.
My mom there's a reason that we call her the business bitch. It's because she's out there slanging these blankets. Like people are walking by. She's like, "Hey, you need to touch this blanket. Like check this out. This is anything you have."
say, do you want to experience super softness? Because
There
that's
you
what they
go.
are. And people pass me, but when they feel it, they're like, oh my gosh, it
Exactly.
changes it. So you can't experience it until you touch it. And then you're like, oh man, I need one of these.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing that you do, which is insane, is you go to these pop-up events and you set it all up yourself. You haul all the equipment, you bring your
Well,
inventory, and you just get after it. Like that's what
I
this
don't set it
podcast
up
is about,
myself.
is highlighting getting after it. And you do that more than you know. It's insane, Mom.
Your dad and your brother helped me a lot. So set
Well,
up.
what would you say one of the biggest lessons that you've learned through 7 years of Snug has been?
Gosh, that's a good question. I've learned so much because like I've changed different like things that I've done and how I've done them and fabrics that I've used. But consistency, perseverance when you don't want to do it anymore. You're just like, I am just so sick of sewing.
Yeah.
You just got to keep on getting after it.
It's true. It's like, what do you do on those days when you have zero motivation and you have 20 blankets you need to sew?
Well, I'm kind of anal. I'm going to say it. I probably have a little OCD. Like, I've got to get this done. I got to get this done. And so when I'm
Thank you
like,
for passing that on to me.
Sorry. I think I've passed it on to more than just you. But I put in a movie, I put in some music, like just in my earphones. It's a movie I've seen, so I don't have to watch it, but I can hear it. And so I focus on that instead of focusing on this dread.
Yeah. Kind of takes your mind off it.
Yeah. The other day I was pinning 63 blankets, and by 63, I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. So I just cranked the music and it got me through. Like, I didn't think about it. Same thing when I would run or exercise. If I can crank that music that gets me going, although I probably dance more in between than I should, but
that's okay. Dancing's good.
I love dancing. As you can attest to your wedding, that's all I did. I didn't even like say hi to guests. I was like, I'm doing
that's
this.
all we needed. The wedding was a party. Listen, we don't need to
was
go
a party.
say hi to guests.
We
do.
Good. People come. It was so nice. Like this couple that is our friends was like, wow, you were really getting out there and dancing up a storm. And I was like, oh, you were there. I'm so sorry.
You're like, yeah, I was dancing. It was my last son's wedding. I was going to party.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was a party. You can't start the music. I just can't not dance.
But it was mostly dirty rap, so that's what got you going.
No, it was clean rap. You used clean rap.
Well, dirty
but
songs.
It was still dirty songs, but clean versions.
Yeah. No, I think that's interesting though. Like going back to the discipline piece. I've told everyone here that's listening, like I'm writing a book right now.
Is there a Dina section?
What?
Is there a Dina section?
There's going to be a Dina section. Yeah, there's going to be stories about Dina.
Teasing.
Lots of Dina stories. I'll tell the story about when you. Never mind. I didn't want to make you embarrassed. But
well, then you shouldn't put it in your book. You crazy.
I'm going to put it in the book now. Now that you said that, it's going in.
No, don't do it.
No, I'm going to for sure say, yeah, Dina, when we'd go to Oceanside, she gets a People magazine. She'll grab a pack of gumballs and ask me to pour water on her feet all day long, and she'll sit in the same spot. And then we'll go to Pedro's for dinner.
Oh, yeah. Oh, those are my favorite memories.
So good.
I did not get after it when we go to the beach. I just sat on my tushy. Well, I guess I did work out before we went.
Yeah, you'd work out. What are you talking about?
But when we got to the beach, I didn't really work out. I just laid there.
And that's what the beach is for. So that's good.
That's true.
But this part I wrote in my book. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It is the strength that propels us to do what is necessary even when we do not feel like it. Discipline is not just about punishment or our hardship. It's about self-control and the ability to direct our actions in a manner that aligns with our long-term goals. It requires a conscious effort to cultivate and a commitment to maintain, but the reward it brings are immeasurable. Going along with what you were saying with Snug, Like there's days that you don't want to do it and it's hard. And ultimately, like the reward is someone who's going to get a snug and be like, this is the best blanket. Plus you get a little bit cash in your bank account. But like that discipline of you like sitting down and just being like, okay, you know what? I have all these blankets I need to get done. Let's just get after it. I'll put on a movie, whatever. It reminded me of something called the 10-minute rule. Have you ever heard of that?
I don't think so.
So the 10-minute rule is more focused on running, but I think it applies to literally everything. So the rule is if you wake up and you don't feel like you want to run, your body's like tapped out, you feel tired, just start slow for 10 minutes. And usually by the end of that, you're like, all right, you know what? This isn't as bad as I thought it was.
Oh my gosh, I lived by that rule and I didn't even know it was a rule.
I know. Yeah. And it's just like confronting the resistance, right? But you've shown that to me so many times. Like you're such a good example of that, of like just delaying gratification to get something done. And it's like, no matter what happens in the day, you're still going to get it done. Like if you're cleaning the house, my mom, she would have us all clean the house on Saturday. But once we all moved out, she's like, I'm cleaning the house every Saturday. So anytime I'd like call her and like FaceTime her, she's like trying to talk to me while she's like wiping down countertops. And I'm like, Mom, I'll just call you back later. But you don't stop until you're done. And I think that's like,
it's really bad sometimes.
Yeah, it's an admirable trait. But it requires a lot of discipline. And I always am interested in like where people discovered their discipline and how they incorporate it into their life. And so is there a time when like you recognized that you needed to be more disciplined and you started some of these habits, or have you always been that way? Have you always been someone who's just like, I need to get things done?
I think I've always been, that's just part of my personality.
Is that because you're a farmer girl?
Done. Maybe.
Grew up on a farm?
When I started being a cheerleader. Well, I mean, I took dance lessons and I realized that the more I practiced, the better I got at it. Then I took singing lessons, same thing. So I think and then I was a cheerleader and it taught me, we have to practice to get things done. And then when I was a senior in high school, I'd been a cheerleader ever since 7th grade. So when I was in 12th grade, I tried out, but I had helped everybody with their routines. And so when I got up to try out, I forgot my own. And I didn't make the team. And I realized right then that I wasn't practicing my routine. I was just helping all these other people because they were like, I need help. And so I would help them. And I wasn't being disciplined and wasn't doing my routine, and I forgot it. And I suffered the consequences. And I didn't make the team. So
that's a good rule, right? It's like,
yeah, it's a good lesson.
Yeah. If you want something, you got to work hard for it. And Allie and I, we were actually talking about that the other day. We were driving and I was like, I'm so lucky that I grew up in a house where like, if I wanted an iPod Touch or if I wanted, a Nintendo DS, I would have to save up on weekends. I'd sell sodas at garage sales and go to granddad's house and, sand down his gates, all that stuff. But I would try and make as much money as I can because you guys taught me that, you have to work for the things that you want. And sometimes that work's not going to be easy. Like the sub 3, that was not easy work, but if you're disciplined enough and you can do it, then there's literally nothing that you can not accomplish if you're consistent.
I was so proud of you, by the way. That's amazing. I was so bad at my first marathon. After I did it, I was like, I'm never doing this again. But I just was so proud of you.
Let's talk about that for a second. Tell me about your first marathon.
So I had run 3 miles, and my friend who was way more in shape than I was, she was like, hey, you want to run a marathon for Team Diabetes? And I was like, sure.
You only ran 3 miles to this point?
I'd only run 3 miles to this
point.
And
you agreed to a marathon?
Uh-huh. Okay. So I went to the meeting and we would raise money. We were raising money for diabetes, and then the coaches would train us. Yeah.
Wait, so what was your training like?
They had like a schedule that we had to do every week. And then on Saturdays, we would get together as a group, whoever was running for Team Diabetes, and we would run our long runs. I remember, I think we were doing 14 miles on South Mountain, which is up hills and stuff. And
Yeah.
And I was slow. I was just trying to finish. I didn't have a sub-3 or goal or anything like that. I just wanted to finish. I didn't want to die and I didn't want to finish, or I wanted to finish. And so I was running this 14 miles by myself, and I got down, finally done. And the whole time I was scared because I was in the middle of nowhere and these weird people were passing me and I was scared. And there was
Weird
no one
people?
around.
What do you mean weird people?
Just some scary people in their cars. And I was like, I'm going to die out here. Someone's going to shoot me and throw me over the edge of the cliff or whatever. So I got down to the bottom and my coach is like, yeah, I know. My coach is like, how was it? And I was like, it sucked. And I got in my car and I left.
Dang.
I was so mad because I was so worried the whole time for my safety.
Yeah, I mean,
I wasn't even focusing on my running or anything like that. It was still supposed to help my endurance and stuff, and I didn't even. But yeah, I was so proud of myself. The training was hard, but I was so proud. When you cross that finish line after you've worked your tail off, it was totally worth it.
Tell me why.
Just because I accomplished something that a lot of people will not, and ever do,
1% of the world finishes a marathon. You know that?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I think it's getting more now, isn't it?
No, people suck now.
Oh.
Come on. The bar's getting low.
The bar's low.
Yeah, it's getting way low now.
But I was proud of myself because I was training in Arizona when it was super hot, and we'd have to get up at 4:30 in the morning just to do our long runs because it was so hot. And I had pushed through a lot of stuff, just pushing myself. And I think that's where, like, I always exercise, but I think that's where my pushing myself started with exercise. Yeah. So
I can see that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So how do you feel now that all your sons are runners because of you?
I don't think they're runners.
You set
because
the example.
Of me.
You ran Chicago.
I ran Chicago. Yeah. And I've run like 2 other half marathons. I don't know if I can get back to running, but we'll see.
Team Tim next year as the 10K, right?
Yeah, I'm going to try. My hip has been giving me issues, so I'm hoping I can fix it before next year and run Team Tim.
You're going to kill it.
That's my goal.
Yeah, you're going to be
and that's another thing is I always like having goals and setting like, okay, I want to finish this by this time.
Yeah.
Or, whether it's exercise or making blankets or reading books or whatever. I always set myself, like, if I set a goal, like to start exercising, I would put my exercise clothes out the night before and then they would sit there. And if I didn't work out, I would feel guilty. And so the next day I was like, I'm going to do it. So I'd put them on and then go. So I think that's, helped my, I don't know, my OCD. I don't know what it is.
No, that makes sense. You want to set the conditions for success, right? And so if you have a goal,
for sure.
I still do that. I put my workout clothes out the night before. Way it's like I just wake up and it makes it one step easier to make it out the door for the gym.
Yep. It's so true.
You got to set the conditions. So like you got to know what your training looks like and all that stuff. But
yep.
What's your favorite thing about working out? Why do you love it so much?
Well, it makes me feel better. It helps me think better. I don't know. It just helps me start my day.
Tell my listeners how long you've been doing it. 5 days a week.
Yeah, I've had, let's see, 5 to 6 days a week. I'm going on my 7th year. It'll be 7 years in July.
So
even when I'm sick,
it's unreal. She is the most consistent, dedicated person to her health that I've ever seen.
You're funny.
Exercise, you are unstoppable.
Exercise, yes. Eating, not so much. You would think I would look like a supermodel, but I don't. But that's okay.
That's all right. Everyone's different. But
Yeah.
it is impressive to see like that daily dedication and that just consistency, because
You're sweet.
it's like you don't see the progress one day after working out. You don't see it after 2 days. Could even be a month, but it's a long-term thing. And like, that's what you're in it for, is the long game. And that's hard. It's hard to be dedicated for that long.
It's hard, but I'm a weirdo and I have to do it.
So do I.
But sorry, honey.
That's okay.
Dad's favorite coach, Rick Majerus, had a great quote. It says, "Work hard and good things will happen." And when I've worked hard, never had bad things happen.
Yeah.
So
I've never regretted a hard days of work.
Yeah, me neither.
Even when you're tired, you just bear down and get it done.
And now that I'm older, I limp after I've worked hard all day.
Hey, it works. Whatever works.
It feels good. I don't care.
Sometimes you got to sit up and put your feet up and watch The Mandalorian,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That leads me to my how much more time do you got?
How much more time do I got for what?
For this episode.
Oh, however long you need.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Tell me about some of your hobbies or the things that you do for fun. Because you're a very fun lady. Like, you're always out there trying to have a party. You're trying to have people over. Anytime that people go to your house, like, they're leaving with a smile. But like, what do you do for fun?
So.
What are some hobbies that you have?
I love to decorate. I love to sing. I love to dance. I don't know if those are hobbies.
I don't know if decorating is a hobby, but we can consider it.
What do you mean, like, hobby? Because I don't paint.
Okay, maybe not hobby, but like, what activities do you do for fun?
I like to read.
There you go.
That's not very fun.
To you?
It is to me. Like,
I love reading too, so it's fun to me.
Read these books right now. Like, I can't put them down. So, I love to be with my family. I love to dance, like have dance parties. I love to have my family over.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a hobby though.
I mean, it's activities that you do for fun. So I
love to be with your dad. I love to go to the movies.
What's the best movie that you've seen the past 30 days in theaters?
I don't think I've saw anything in theaters.
Okay, well, best movie you've seen in the past 30 days.
Oh, it's that one that Dad and I watched. Oh, with Paul Giamatti. Oh, what is that?
Oh, is that the one he wants me to watch all the time?
Yes,
The Holdovers?
The Holdovers. It was so good. It had such a good story.
It looks
and he did a great job. I know it doesn't look fun to you, but I think you will like it.
I'd rather watch Ratatouille.
But I love all the Marvel movies. I love it when girls can kick trash. My secret when I was young was I wanted to be an FBI agent just so I could kick some butt.
But you wanted to be Wonder Woman, if I remember correctly.
What's bad, though, is that I would kick their butt and then I'd be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you okay?"
Yeah, exactly. Going back to the story earlier, you'd be like, "Wait, hold on. Can I go get you a pack of ice?
Do you need some water?"
Yeah. You really are
anyway.
the nicest person ever.
I know I'm not.
Maybe you can share with me your favorite, one of your favorite trips that we took when we were kids.
Oh, that would probably be to Hawaii. When we took you back to where Dad and I met. That was
okay.
Really
so you're
fun.
gonna have to tell me more about that trip because I was so young I don't remember it at all.
You don't?
I just remember Drew and I were scuba diving or snorkeling once and we saw a squid. That's all I remember. And then I remember we were at the YMCA and I was asleep on one of the bunk beds and I had candy in my pocket and my sweatshirt was my pillow, but it fell off. And I woke up in the morning. It was like, it was black because it was covered in ants.
Oh, that's
you remember that?
Gross.
And then you took it outside and you shook it and you're like, "Don't put candy in your sweatshirt when you go to bed." Like, I wanted the candy. Come on. I also want my maple bar donut.
I think you were 6 when we went to Hawaii. Weren't you? Or 8? No, you were 6. But 4 when we went back as a family.
Yeah. And
that was just a blast. Yeah,
What?
having you guys see where we met and
Yeah. What about
going to the beach
family
and
time is your favorite? Like what makes it so special?
well, it's just great being together. And that's when we form memories and do fun things and have, our relationships grow stronger.
Yeah.
I just love anything to do with anything with my family.
I agree with that. Allie and I, this has been a topic we've been just going into quite a bit actually. Is like we're not really interested in buying stuff or going we want to go on trips, but like that's not priority, right?
Right.
The things that mean the most are, the days when we go to Harmon's, we get a salad and we go have a picnic. Or, we come home from church and we fire up the air fryer, eat a bunch of nuggets and just like hang out with each other. It's like these little moments. And that's why like I talk so heavily about journaling, which again, I have to attribute to you because last Christmas of 2022, you gave us all journals and you said, just write out your thoughts in those. And so now I have it like all digitally and let's see if I can pull this up real quick. The listeners are going to get a little snippet from my journal, but I can go to like July 2023 and it's just fun because I can go back and like look at the little things that happened during the day. Here, you'll remember this. This is our trip to Oceanside. Maybe. When did we go to Oceanside? Sorry.
It was July. It was like
July?
the July
Okay.
14th-ish.
Okay, perfect. I have all the entries. That
was a fun trip with all the kids.
Yeah, it's so good. But like these little things that like I am able to go back and read. As we drove to Oceanside, we both talked about each other and opened up on some serious topics and wanted to discuss. Okay, maybe I won't share that one. But this, like, here you go. I remember this day specifically. This is when we just got to Oceanside, Allie and I. And I said, when we got to our hotel, we both put on our running shoes. Al just bought some new cool Brooks, and we went on a walk to the beach. It was honestly hard to describe how much joy I felt walking to the beach with a girl in my dreams. The way the sun hit her face was like something straight out of a movie. I legitimately do not think there's a more beautiful girl in the world.
Oh.
Boom. True. Amen. Listen to how poetic your son is. I know she will continue to get hotter as time goes on. She's a fine wine for sure. Dang. I don't drink, but I hear that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We jumped in the ocean for a little and swam around, which was nice. First time taken out of the place I grew up as a kid.
That was fun.
But like, yeah, like to your point, those are the things that matter. It's like you can get so distracted by trying to get, a new car or the next best thing or whatever it is. And it leads to you losing sight of what is important in your life. But you never have done that. You've always kept family top of the list, God top of the list. And
I try.
How do you balance that? Like what has worked for you?
I don't know. I have priorities, and my priorities that are at top of the list are God and my family. And so I try not to let things get in the way of that. I've had things before that have gotten in the way, and I'm like, Nope, we got to stop that. But I try now, especially just to make those the lower things and still keep God and my family top priority.
Do you ever do any form of like self-reflection?
Oh, yeah.
What's that look
Every
like?
day.
What's it look like?
Just like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done that. I'm not going to do that again. Every day I just kind of sit down and go, okay, good day, bad day. Why was it bad? Why was it good? Not as good as I used to be.
Wait, so you got us all journals and you don't even journal? Dang. I'm just kidding.
The last year has been bad. I haven't journaled, but I am writing my life history. So
that's a form of journaling. That's 100%.
I guess that is. But my memory isn't as good as it used to be. So I don't remember all the things, all the details that I want my kids to remember, or to know about their childhood.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
anyway,
sure. That's pretty cool,
but
though.
you'll all get a good laugh.
I can't wait for that book. It's gonna be better than mine for sure.
If you wait for you have to wait for it, because when you can't wait for it, that means I'm dead.
Yeah, that's a good point. So
you're not getting it until I'm dead. So
let's just get you more stories that you can add to it, some good ones.
Oh my gosh.
I do want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Because one thing that getting after it's about is overcoming difficulty and adapting to changing circumstances, living with uncertainty, but still like moving forward. And you have been such a great example of doing that in my life and being someone who is strong during difficult times and someone who I look to as an example of, hey, I want to handle my trials like my mom, because you always have faith and you always have hope. And I'm curious if you can share maybe like a challenge or some kind of difficult time in your life that you'd be willing to share, and what you did to overcome it and what you did to keep your head high. It doesn't have to be too personal, just like anything.
Oh, I've been in a few of those in my life. And I think what I've realized, especially now, is that how I get through those things is with God. And I know a lot of people don't believe in God, but I heck as do. I heck as do. That's not even a word.
Did you say
I sure?
What was
I heck
that?
as do. I meant to say I sure as heck do, but I said I heck as do.
I heck as
Coming
do.
up with a new...
Okay.
Sorry.
You heard it here first, everyone.
No, please
heck as do.
cut that out. But I noticed when I involve God that I'm able to go through those experiences. They're not fun. I don't like them. They're not easy, but I have the strength to get through them. I have had many experiences with God in my life, so I know that He's there, and I know that He helps us when we ask. And I just, I know I could do it very well without Him in my life and Him a part of my story. So,
what do you do to include Him to be part of your story?
I pray a lot. And I feel strength when I go to church, and then I try to help others. That also helps me not think about the trial that I'm going through as much.
That's a
huge one. It gets away from myself. Yeah. So I think those two things, service and God, help me get through hard stuff. It doesn't mean I don't cry. It doesn't mean I don't lose sleep over it.
Yeah.
But I heard a quote that said, sleep well because God's awake. And I try to think of that, so I can sleep better. Sometimes it doesn't work, but
yeah.
Yeah, I would say those two things for sure.
Yeah, I think that's huge. And my friend John and I, we were talking about this the other night. We were talking about like how there's adverse forces. Like if you want to call him God, if you want to call it the universe or the muse, whatever, but I'm going to call it God because that's what I believe. And, the adversary is going to give you feelings of self-doubt, discouragement, and
fear.
All these other things that are going to try and stop you from reaching your goals and getting after it. And for me, I'm like a competitive person. I'm like, I'm not going to let that dude freaking stop me from doing what I want to do. So those feelings of discouragement and doubt, like if someone comments something stupid on my TikTok or Instagram, I'm just like, whatever. I don't care. I'm proud of this message.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
Yeah, He wants you to reach your goals. He wants you to have a happy life.
He wants you to be happy. And the people or the whatever you were talking about likes to use fear. And you might be fearful to help someone or go try something new or get after it with whatever you want to do. And it's just him
Yeah.
Just be like, get the heck out of my life, baby. I'm doing it.
Get out of here. I'm the business
Get out
bitch.
here.
You're not allowed to stay here.
Nope.
Is there a time? Because like that's a big topic for getting after it is fear. Is there an experience in your life that you really had to overcome a fear to either accomplish something or to take a step in the right direction you know you needed to?
Well, I had lots of fear when I started Snug. I had lots of fear when I ran my marathon, but I just,
Can
even
you talk
though I
about
had,
that fear? Like what were the thoughts going through your head?
well, for my marathon, everyone thought I was crazy. They're just like, what? Are you going to run 26.2 miles? And I was like, yeah, I am. And that kind of made me like, yeah, I am. I'm going to do this.
Yeah. You doubt me? Watch this.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's like your teenage kid. Really? You said I couldn't do that? I'm going to do it. But you fear people criticizing. You fear people, like with Snug. I was afraid that nobody would like it. Nobody would buy it. I went to my first little pop-up market. I had 17 blankets.
Dang.
Oh, no. I had 22 blankets and I sold 17. And I was like, oh my gosh, people like it. Like I like it. Good. So this is good. So that, gives you a little hope and stuff. But yeah, I had a lot of fear before I started my business. And sometimes you just have to jump with both feet in and just say, okay, I'm going to overcome this fear and do it.
Come what may and love it.
That's right. Come what may and love it. It is tough. But once you get through that fear, it's amazing.
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes is fear is a mile wide, but an inch deep.
Yeah. That's a good quote.
As soon as you step into it, it's like, it's not as bad as I thought it was.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's hard, but it's like you said, when you do hard things, it's good.
What do you think about doing hard things with other people? What do you think that does?
What do you mean?
Like you ran for Team Diabetes. I didn't even know that was a thing, but you ran for Team Diabetes.
I have a shirt.
We just ran the Mason Marathon with Team Tim. And there's something that I have found either great happiness in or the relationships just increase and build upon when you do difficult things together with other people. And
for sure.
That could be a shared trial that you guys are going through. Like if it's a personal family trial, it could be something physical like a marathon. It could be starting a business with other people. But I think there is something that happens when you do difficult things with other people. And one, you support each other, but then two, I think you grow closer. And I'm curious
for sure
what you think about that.
Oh, yeah. Just going through certain things in our family, I felt like that we've gotten way closer. I think when you face difficult challenges together with love and a common goal, you do grow closer.
All right, this is this might be a little interesting question, but I'm curious about this. So I've shared on this podcast how I had my health struggles, right? Like I got really sick. I dropped down to 135, 6'3", so that's not good. And I've shared my personal experience with like going through that with the fatigue and not being able to get out of bed, having to wear a stupid eye patch and like throwing up because my stomach was so upset. What was it like on the other side though, seeing that? Because you guys were my biggest support. You were always there for me. You were always someone who I could rely on during that time. And as a parent, like I can't imagine that being easy.
It was awful. I'm just going to say it. Seeing your baby go through that.
Yeah. I feel like we got closer though.
Oh, for sure. We had many moments, like, when we went to the doctor and I almost fainted, but you didn't.
Yeah. Is that when he's like, yeah, I think you might have leukemia.
Yeah, I was like, I think I'm going to pass out. And I had to lay on the bed and you were sitting in the chair. That was awful. So much for a strong mom, right?
No, you're the strongest lady I've ever met.
No, yeah, that was just rough going through the unknown and seeing you suffer. And yeah, you're gonna make me cry. I don't want to cry on your podcast.
It's okay. It's good.
But you were amazing. I mean, you would make yourself do stuff and make yourself just, eat and try to be with us. But then there was also times where I was really, really worried.
Yeah. When I looked like I came out of a concentration camp.
When we went to the reunion, and you never took your shirt off until we went to a reunion, and you took your shirt off to get in the hot tub. And I was like, what? Yeah, I was very worried.
Yeah. What role did faith play during that time or during other challenging trials in your life?
Oh, most of it. I mean, it played. I just had to keep having faith in the doctors that they would find it. I mean, you basically diagnosed yourself. You kept researching and trying to find things. And I do remember one time, I think you had lost your job. You were really sick and you were just having a hard time. And I was talking to your dad, and I looked to heaven and I was like, seriously? I repented for that, but I was just like, what more can this poor guy take? I just didn't know what else you could do. But anyway, I think God knows when we have moments like that, and he just strengthens us more.
I totally agree. During that time, it was like, I feel like we had some of our closest moments as a family. We grew closer, like I said. That was the time when I really found God, I think, and had to rely 100% on him and have that faith and have that hope that, no matter what happens, it'll be okay in the end. There was a quote that you'd always put on the fridge. Do you remember?
Was it faith over fear?
That was one, but there's another one.
I don't remember.
Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end.
It's not the end. Yeah, that's a good one.
And I think just having things like that just help you just remember, like, we're all human. Every single person's going to go through something hard in their life, but this too shall pass. Like, you will get through it and you will become better for it. And ultimately, like, be able to help someone else in need during that time. And this is the last question I'll ask you.
Okay.
Has there been an experience that you've gone through and adversity that you faced where you were able to take those lessons that you learned and help someone else in need? Relate to them, show them empathy, that kind of thing.
Gosh. My brain stinks, so I don't know.
Are you taking that nootropic I asked you to?
Yes, I am. It is helping, but I can't think of some, maybe I have. I mean, I've talked to lots of people, but I don't know if I've helped them. I mean, no one's ever said, wow, that really helped me. So I don't know.
I think and like, that's the thing, is they don't know what you went through before, but the fact that you're able to reach out and relate to them a little bit, I think shows a lot.
I think it helps when somebody else, you can relate to someone else. They've gone through the same experiences. Just knowing that you're not going through it alone makes a big difference.
Yeah,
so
I'd agree. And that's the best part, is you've always been by my side. You're one of my best friends.
I love you.
I love you too, Mom.
You're my little buddy. You always have been my little buddy. You used to go to the store with me when all the kids were at school. And
I'll always come to Circle K and treat you to a drink anytime I come down.
You're so sweet. I know.
It's my favorite thing.
I love it. I love it. Me and my addiction to Diet Dr. Pepper. Come on, Diet Dr. Pepper, sponsor this podcast.
Hey, Diet Dr. Pepper, shout out. Let's go. Let's get a Snug Blanket Diet Dr. Pepper collab.
Yeah, there we go.
That'd be sweet. Diet Dr. Pepper Snug.
Oh my gosh. And gumballs even. Like
gumballs?
Oh, come on. The gumball companies. I chew them as I'm sewing all the time. Although I'm trying to cut back because, But anyway.
Listen, we got to get some collabs. Some people reach out. Everybody send Snug blankets, good design ideas. That's something. Okay, if someone was wanting to snug, why don't you share that information out here? Where can they go buy it?
If you
Where's your
want to go
Instagram?
buy it, my website is www.snugblankets.com.
Perfect.
My Instagram is snug_blankets.
Perfect.
I think my TikTok's the same.
I'll toss
can't
it all in the
remember.
show notes. So everyone go take a look at it. It's worth it. And
you can laugh at all my entries.
We got Easter coming up here. If you need like a little
Easter, graduation,
Easter basket.
Mother's Day, Father's Day.
Yeah, sell it.
We got you,
Snug.
baby.
Let's go. Any embarrassing stories you want to tell my listeners before I leave?
I have lots of embarrassing stories, but I don't know if there's any I want to share.
I'm talking about of me.
Oh, of you.
Because you're my mom and you can.
You were always just a happy, smiley.
Oh, I get it. I was just perfect. Yeah.
Did your chores.
Wow.
I mean,
keep it up. This is not embarrassing. This is just hyping me up.
You didn't give me any kind of crap. I mean, yeah, you did give me some crap, but not too bad. You were a pretty easygoing kid.
There you have it, listeners. I'm just the best.
That's right.
Heard it here from Snug Lady. She's never been wrong. Remember I said that never there. Anything else you want to share? Or any quotes or anything that are top of mind?
Nope. Just keep getting after it. Just work hard and good things happen. Like Rick Majera said, it's so true. Nobody ever got in all that they have in life by sitting on the couch.
Right.
And doing nothing. It's not worth it. It's just waste your life.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Mom. You should start a podcast.
No.
Yeah,
no one wants to hear an old lady.
Come on.
No one's going to listen to this podcast.
Everyone's going to listen. This is going to be my best. This is the longest podcast I've recorded so far.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Why are you sorry?
We have been talking.
No, that's a goal. It's a high five. Nice work.
High five.
Yeah, we're breaking records, Mom. You and me.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, thanks for coming on. I'm going to have you on again because I really enjoyed this. This is fun.
Anytime. I enjoyed it too. But I always love talking to my boy.
I always love talking to my mom, so that works. Maybe we can have you on like as a guest segment where you do like, your favorite movie reviews, or we could just call it Dina's Thoughts and you could just ramble on things that you hate in the world going on right now.
Oh, I have lots of opinions about that.
Name one and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. What's one thing you hate right now?
One thing, I'm not going to go to the one thing I hate, but
come on,
you know what that is. No. One thing I hate is bad drivers.
Ooh, tell me more.
No, they cut you off and they don't know how to drive and they're driving really slow in front of you and you're in a hurry and I say bad words. I'm trying to be better though.
How many F words have you said consecutively at a bad driver?
I have never said an F word at a bad driver.
Okay. I've
said the S word.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Or son of a, you stupid son of a, yeah. But I'm trying to get better on my cursing, but I don't say the F word.
Well,
maybe that one time, but yeah. Okay, let's move on, son.
I'm just saying, no, the swearing, I don't see you getting better at. That's just part of you.
No, I have to get better.
Just like how you are one of the most kindest, genuine people I've ever met. You're always going to have a farmer's mouth. So be proud of it.
Oh.
Well, I love you, Mama. Thanks for coming on.
Love you more.
All right. Everyone
else?
Thanks
for having me.
Yeah. Keep getting after it, people.
Yes. Make sure you do.
Make sure you do. I love it. You did great.